Hey guys, I hope you're all having a great day today because gamers definitely are not, and that is because gaming is being hit by a mass wave of censorship at the moment because of a group called Collective Shout. Now, originally I wasn't going to cover this kind of big drama, but the thing is I think this drama is going to be going on for a long time. People are going to be talking about it for quite a while, so I might as well just give my 2 cents on the whole situation. And plus, how could I turn down the opportunity to dunk on a low IQ group like Collective Shout? Now, censorship is nothing new in the gaming industry. We have seen things like the Omnimusha 2 remake where they go back and they censor 20-year-old games. We have seen things like the Dead Rising Deluxe remaster where even things as mild as "this is my sexiest shot" get replaced with "this is my silliest shot." Like, if you're aware of what's going on in the gaming industry, you know about all the censorship, unless you literally have the IQ of a beetle. Now, every time I make one of these videos, I get some sort of comment along the lines of, "Oh, why do you care?" Maybe because this is a hobby I grew up with and I don't want to see it go down the shitter. Maybe because I don't want to see activist groups ruin something that I loved and used as an escape from the troubles of the real world. And maybe because it's my channel and I'll talk about whatever the fuck I want to. And if you don't like it, you can hit the highway. But anyway, we're gonna go through an article that explains the whole drama very well, and I'm going to give a lot of takes on it. I don't think it's gonna take a rocket scientist to figure out where I stand on this sort of thing, even before I go ahead and get into the article, but let's just go ahead and get started. Why is everyone upset about Steam's new content policy changes? And why it involves corn games. So yeah, you read that correctly. Steam is actually bending their rules because of activist groups out there that don't even play video games in the first place. Collective Shout, very fitting name by the way, because all they've done is scream and shout like a literal toddler on Twitter since this whole situation blew up because people dared to criticize them. An anti-corn group has claimed responsibility for Steam's changes and decried gamers as corn-sick, brain-rotted, PDF gamer fetishists. I don't know if these people think jamming as many buzzwords into their tweet as possible. I don't know if they think that makes their point more valid, but it just makes you look like a fucking moron. Your buzzwords are about as meaningless as your entire organization. And anybody who doesn't walk around with a drip tray under their mouth to catch the drool isn't falling for this. Also, some of the comments, like the whole PDF claim, are completely made up and no evidence is shown at all. Not a very good look for your company, just falsely accusing people of things that could ruin their lives. Is this how organizations act these days? Pretty sad, dude. Earlier this month, Steam updated its censorship rules to prohibit specific types of content on its platform. If that sounds vague, you'd be right, and it's why devs and gamers are anxious about these changes. And that's another thing, you have to think about this from a developer point of view as well. Like, if you're a developer that makes an NSFW game and that's how you put food on the table, you might be out of a job soon. And it's all because this group wanted to kick up a fuss over literally nothing. I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about pixels on a screen and lines of code. I'm sure there's many other things that you could be putting your energy towards that will actually get you much better results in the real world rather than censoring video games. But hey, what do I know? I don't run an organization that I had to private on Twitter because people dared criticize me. Steam's new rule says that it will seek to prohibit content that may violate the rules and standards set forth by Steam's payment processors and related card networks and banks, or internet network providers. To put it simply, if Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal are unhappy, Valve will pull the game. And shit like this is why physical media is so important. If all Steam games had a physical release, you could just go buy a physical copy if they want to pull it from the storefront, but unfortunately we don't have that option. Luckily piracy exists, but that's the only way to basically get these games if they get delisted. It's unclear when this new rule came into effect, but as PC Gamer reports, the new rule has been implemented very recently, or at least sometime after April 14th this year, per the Wayback Machine's last snapshot. Valve didn't make any official statement regarding this change, however, Collective Shout, an Australian anti-corn organization, has taken responsibility for the change. Just last month, they launched several Change.org petitions calling for MasterCard, Visa, and PayPal to cut ties with Steam and itch.io. Now, if you're like me and you didn't know what itch.io was before reading this article, it's basically just another storefront like Steam or GOG, and yeah, they've been censored, just like Steam. Given the proximity of these changes and that Steam's new rule directly outlines these payment processors, it's not a stretch to imagine this influenced the change. The policy change is surprising given Valve's previous statements regarding not wanting to moderate content on its platform except where legally required. If you're a player, we shouldn't be choosing for you what content you can or can't buy. If you're a developer, we shouldn't be choosing what content you're allowed to create, said Valve in its statement. However, it's looking like the platform is turning heel. Yeah, you don't fucking say. But I feel like their statement they made before is how things should have stayed. Like, if it isn't breaking any laws, then what's the issue? Who cares? Okay, so a group wants to cry about them. Fuck them, who cares? They're irrelevant. I took a look at some of the people that work in this organization. Dude, they're like pushing 50 on the internet crying over pixels. Why would anyone value anything they have to say? What happened? Historically, payment processors have never had an issue with Valve and the games they sell. If a game was deemed too extreme and complaints were raised to the Australian Classifications Board, Valve would immediately pull the game from its store. The ACB would confirm this when speaking to Pedestrian TV. Where specific titles on Steam have been identified as non-compliant or potentially in breach of classification legislation, the department has engaged directly with the platform in each instance. Including the case of No Mercy, Steam has voluntarily removed the offending content from its Australian storefront. We saw this scenario play out earlier this year. No Mercy was, as its Steam description stated, a 3D choice-driven adult visual novel with a huge focus on and male dominance. The game unintentionally launched a PR crisis for Valve after mainstream news picked up that the platform was selling it for $17.75. So yeah, this is what these morons like to do. Instead of getting mad at the game itself that actually has the offending content in it, they get mad at Valve. Oh, you're gonna sell this game? It's like, yes, you fucking moron, it's an open platform. Do you think Valve has time to review every single game the second they're put up on Steam? Yes, some games like this are going to slip through the cracks, and once Valve learns about them, they will take according action. Collective Shout was one of the leading organizations pushing Steam to remove the game, launching a Change.org petition which garnered over 70k signatures. The game was quickly pulled from Steam's store globally, however, did little to address the how a game like No Mercy was sold on a platform like Steam. Realistically, it goes back to Valve's ethos to not police what's sold on their storefront, but also volume. According to Statista, an average of 41 games are uploaded to Steam per day. These games range from big budget releases from expensive studios to small games released by independent developers. Valve does not manually approve any of these games. So yeah, Valve is not doing anything wrong here, dude. Like, yeah, they don't have time to review 41 games a day. And they quickly took action against No Mercy. But of course, that's not good enough for these morons. They gotta have something to bitch about. The truth is, you'll never appease people like this because they'll always find something new to complain about and use to label you as a bad person, so it's better off to just ignore them. But of course, Visa and MasterCard for some reason fold to these idiots. Selling a game on Steam is also ridiculously easy. All someone has to do is build a store page and pay $100 US. As you can guess, this has led to all sorts of games appearing on the platform and being recommended to gamers of all ages. These can range from misleading and broken games to extreme pornographic titles like No Mercy. And with No Mercy drawing plenty of sudden negative attention to its platform, it's clear some have turned their eyes to make the platform implement hard changes. Why do people have an issue with this change? I mean, try rubbing a couple brain cells together and maybe you'll find out. Gamers are usually a protective bunch, but there's some validity here. First and foremost, many have been calling for Valve to reconsider its content approval policy for games on its platform, and to provide transparency for what content they'll allow. This new policy continues Valve's hands-off approach, committing that they'll remove games so long as people ask. With this change as well, Valve has a clear argument to now allow a game back onto its platform even if it was removed unfairly. This change removes nuance in a developer's argument. Another reason is that Collective Shout have made no friends in the gaming space. Truly unfortunate, man. On July 18th, Vice President Melinda, what a dumb name, I'm not even gonna attempt to read that, called those arguing against her corn, sick, brain-rotted PDF gamer fetishists. I mean, dude, do I even have to say anything? You know, I know we're all thinking it, so I'm just gonna be the one to say it. You're way too old to be doing this. If you're above the age of 18 getting offended by content in video games, and going as far as to wanting to have the entire platform of Steam pretty much ruined, it's just pathetic. Further posts from the organization suggested that 82 out of the 500 games the group took issue with were still available for purchase on Steam. PC Gamer has pointed out that the numbers do not add up. Associate editor Ted Litchfield found only 456 games, including double-ups, had been removed from Steam since the 15th of July, including a number of unrelated games to Collective Shout's complaints. Furthermore, the org has received complaints for its seemingly over-puritanical agenda. Just today, it has been leading the charge to remove an erotic work of street art painted in Melbourne. Queer artist responsible for the work, Lauren YS, has spoken out, claiming that the piece is about empowerment and queer selfhood. If a powerful org is aiming to steamroll over an artist's intent to demand payment processors refuse to work with an entire platform, that sets a dangerous precedent. So yeah, it just kind of feels like these people are on a power trip and they just get like some sort of satisfaction out of bullying companies into caving to them, basically. Now, the rest of the article, they talk about, like, writing at Vice and stuff like that, just stuff we don't really care about, to be honest. I would like to bring up that Vice is the exact same organization that made an article about putting a Joy-Con in their butt, and then complaining that it didn't work, so do with that information as you wish. But yeah, this group is really kind of damaging gaming, and this isn't the only incident of censorship recently. We see things like the Omnimusha 2 remake, where Capcom goes in, and they censor anything slightly revealing in a 20-year-old game. The Dead Rising Deluxe remaster, that game was butchered by censorship. Hell, you even see M-rated games nowadays come out, and they're scared to have too much blood in it, so they'll tone it down from recent entries. Like, it's just a big pussification of gaming, in all honesty. Like, there's no other way I can explain it. Everything gotta be like super fucking Weenie Hut Jr. And especially with this group popping up, a lot of developers are going to keep in mind that this group can come for them if they make anything too offensive, so they're gonna make the games extra safe, and it's just gonna suck. Obviously, most people are in agreement that this sucks. Every time a company like itch.io posts on Twitter, they get absolutely ratioed by people clowning on them, as they should. You can see here itch.io is promoting some like slop, like word game, I don't know what it is. But somebody replies saying, removed by payment processors due to unempathetic depictions of mass murder. That seems to be their strategy at the moment, just spam out a bunch of game promotions, hoping that people forget about the drama, but yeah, it's not working for them. But it sucks to see stuff like this happen. But I want to point out this meme right here, because I saw this when looking up information on this whole movement. For some reason, this isn't okay, but movies like Cuties, they're completely fine. You know, Visa, MasterCard, and Collective Shout said nothing about Cuties. In fact, Collective Shout defended it. So it just goes to show that these people are using selective outrage, they don't actually believe what they're preaching, and they'll let things slide if they personally like them. But that's pretty much all I have to say for today's video. Yeah. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't like the video, leave a dislike, and yeah, I'm out.